Today we have three really exciting papers. I know they're exciting because I've read them. Let me give you 2 quick minutes of context for understanding these papers and what they're about and where they come from and maybe where they might go. When I started out working on Jack Tar, the colonial seaman, which is now a half-century ago, the reigning notion among historians was that sailors were muscular, generally drunk, foul-mouthed types who were incapable of having any kind of political thought or idea. Riots in colonial cities were seen as irrational or hired mobs. Think Balin, Borston, Morgan, and many, perhaps most of the people who were then in early American history. Balin described impressment resistance and other seamen's protests as, quote, ideologically inert, expressing only, quote, a diffuse and indeliberate anti-authoritarianism. So politically poisoned was the field of early American history, and maybe more generally U.S. history, poisoned by this kind of stuff, that you had to look across the Atlantic to people like Edward Thompson, who found among the lower classes alternative ideas and what he called an ethos of mutuality. George Roudet helped to teach us to see riot as a form of political expression, something the media has yet to learn, I believe, to see riot as purposeful and discriminating. Some of us in the U.S., listening to the voices of those in the past who had been deemed inarticulate, found instead the articulation of ideas, politics, social and economic views. In the revolutionary mob, resisting impressment on ship and ashore, and in the prisons of the revolution. I found that Jack had a mind of his own, rational and purposeful, thinking about liberty, politics, and self-government, often with radical ideas and expression, at odds with liberal leadership, as in the Stamp Act riots, which led fruitfully to nullification of the act from the bottom up. Jack was concerned with liberty and right, even in the prisons of the Revolution, where the prisoners drew up their own constitutions and laws with wonderful phrasings like, "No giant like man may tyrannize over a smaller man, not his equal." Think of the values behind that. As Nathan Pearl Rosenthal here points out in his fine paper, Marcus Rediker went beyond seamen ashore to look at Jack on shipboard and found ideas and behaviors that resembled those of Christopher Hill's masterless men. Other important and relevant work has been done by Al Young, Peter Linebaugh, Daniel Vickers, Stoughton Lind, and others. Bringing this up to the present, as you will see and still soon hear, today's papers continue and nicely enlarge this work, showing among other things how sailors used the principles of the Revolution to advance their liberty, relating shipboard grievances to larger principles and expressing what Edward Thompson called a moral economy and a legitimizing